All right, final video of chapter 2. This is evaluating expressions. This is where you're going to be plugging in numbers for variables here. So they give you m times n minus 8, and it says for m equal to negative 5 and n equal to 2. So we're going to plug in parentheses. I've been trying to say this over and over like that so that you would get in the habit of plugging in something like minus 5 right here inside a parenthesis. N is 2, so we'll put the n there. Okay, so this is m, n, where m is negative 5 and n is 2. And then we just simplify this. So we would multiply first, following the order of operations here, of course. So negative 5 times 2 would be negative 10 minus 8. We'll just bring that straight down. And then this would be negative 10 minus 8. Those signs are the same. You would add them and keep the negative sign. So negative 18 for that. Negative 18. Okay, now let's go to the next one. All the way off there. I do not know why that thing pops out like that, but whatever. There we go. So now we have a much more involved type of problem here. We have t squared minus t on top over 3, where t is a negative 3. So when we do this, on the top, we're going to have t squared. So that's going to go in parentheses, negative 3 squared. And the square goes out, the exponent of 2 goes outside of that little parenthesis there, minus negative 3. Now, there's a whole lot going on here. Okay, this minus sign right there is that one. These negative 3's are separated inside these parentheses like that, and that's going to be over 3. That's just that 3 right there on the bottom. And then we have to figure out what the top is. The bottom is going to be a 3. The top is going to be negative 3 squared. Well, that's negative 3 times negative 3. That's a positive 9 because I got two negative signs. That turns that positive. So this is going to be 9 minus negative 3. I'm just going to write that as it appears there, minus negative 3. So that is 9, and that's a combo sign right there. That is a combo sign, and when you subtract a negative, that makes it 9 plus 3 over 3. Notice this 3 just gets carried over each time. Nothing changes on the bottom. 9 plus 3 is 12 over 3, which is 4. 4. All right, so that's that one. Again, if you didn't quite get that, go back and watch that thing again. Alrighty then. So here's the next one, a little bit more difficult. This time A is 5, B is negative 4, but A is positive 5. So we're going to carefully plug everything in this. The bottom would be negative 3. It doesn't change. It has no variables on the bottom. On the top, there's my two big outside parentheses. Okay, that's these two. That's those two parentheses right there. Inside would be 5 squared because A is 5. So that goes in there, and it's positive, so that's going to be good. Plus 4 times B. Now, B is negative 4. Okay, so let's start chopping away at the top of this. The bottom I like to write first, because it's not going to change on this problem. The top is going to be, you're going to square this first, so that's 5 times 5, which is 25, plus 4 times negative 4. That's going to be negative 16. And then we could choose to rewrite this, 25. That's been what I've kind of been training you to do. 25 minus 16. 25 minus 16 is 9 over negative 3. And 9 divided by a negative 3 will, of course, be a negative answer because you got one sign there. And that will be negative 3. So 78 should be negative 3. All right. That's basically it for the evaluating, but I did decide to put some distributive law problems on here just because you could see that. Now remember, we've done problems like this before. We did problems like 6 times x plus 4, and we distributed and got 6x plus 24. Well, it's the same idea, except this time we have negative signs. So negative 9 times y isn't 9y, it's negative 9y. And negative 9 times negative 1, and that is a negative 1. I know it says minus 1, but you treat it as negative 1. So that would be a negative times a negative, which is a positive. So that's plus 9. So that would be negative 9y plus 9. This one, again, you can always pause this and try it if you want. This would be negative 3x plus 27. Negative 3 times that, and negative 3 times negative 9 would be positive 27. And our final problem here would be negative 3 times y is negative 3y, and negative 3 times positive 1 will be a negative 3. So we put minus 3. That's how we would write that. Minus 3. A negative times a positive makes a negative. A lot of people get hung up on, well, this is a minus 3, but it's negative 3 too. Okay, it's the same thing. Have a good one.